Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Stop in and see what it is I'm up to. It is 8:30, Friday the 16th of September 2022. 80 degrees Fahrenheit out there, 73% humidity, 27 degrees Celsius. It's a nice evening. I'm just sitting up here at the gas station, kind of people watching and doing my video because it's too dark to drive around and do my video. And I don't want this light on while I've got the video running. This is what it looks like without the light. Yeah, that's not good, right? So anyway, uh I'm using one of the mounts that I showed yesterday that I got from Amazon, and it's a cheapie. It's only like $4 or something. It's supposed to hang from your mirror, but it is what I want to say. It's on a telescoping rod, and it doesn't stay in place. And if you try to like put it where it is right now, and I try to drive, it does that number way too easily. Like every time I go around a turn or hit a bump. So I need to figure out how to fix that. Maybe. I don't know. Right now I've got it kind of taped, and that didn't really work. Let's see if I can. Sorry for the hand. Get you up just a little bit. So, oh yeah. Not a total fail, especially for the price. Like I said, $4. Even if I have to modify the arm on it a little bit to work for me, I'll figure out something. A little aggravated at myself because of my sleep schedule. I mean, I'm telling myself, you've been sick for the past few days. Well, sick and then getting over, but I didn't get up until almost 4 o'clock this afternoon. I went to bed like around the normal time, 6 or 6:30. Woke up a little bit afternoon and said, "All right, I'll go back to bed for a little bit," and then it was after 4 o'clock. So that's pushing 10 hours. I guess my body needed it, but I'm going to have to start forcing myself to go to sleep earlier so that I can get up a little bit earlier, because by the time I get done my coffee and have something to eat, it's getting dark out. So and I guess it'll only get worse when we set the clocks back, right? Because we set spring ahead, fall behind, whenever that's going to be, if it hasn't already happened, because I don't pay that much attention. But anyhow. So if any of y'all were watching the video last night and I was playing around with this phone contraption and this phone, somehow I got it to operate. I got the operating system to change or something, and every time I touched it, it was like double tap to do this, and I couldn't figure out what I had done. I went to my daughter-in-law's. I went to my son's and handed it to my daughter-in-law, and she'd fixed it once before. She forgot what she had to do, but she went through it and figured it out. And somehow, I must have pushed both the volume up and volume down button, and it changed it to some sort of voice activated something or other. So when she held both buttons down again, it stopped it. Hopefully, I'm going to remember that. I need to make a note of it or make a little video of it or something so that I remember. And just putting it in this video won't be enough because I'll never find it. But anyway, phone as much as I enjoy the phones. Sorry, my lights are still on. They have their little idiosyncrasies. If you accidentally touch the screen and swipe it from one corner to another, or from one square to another, or something, the screen gets dark. I need it on the brightest setting possible. We always have it on the brightest setting possible. Sometimes if you're trying to type on those itty bitty little keyboards and you don't quite lift your finger and you drag across 2 or 3 keys, man, it totally messes up what you're typing. So yeah, just all those little things. And I mean, there's people that are way more tech savvy. I know that, and they're out there probably laughing and whatever. Some people are saying, get an Apple. Trust me, Apples aren't any easier for me to use. Not one bit. In fact, the few times I've tried to use an Apple phone or an iPhone or an iPad, I had an iPad given to me, I can't use it. I can't figure it out. I grew up on Windows and Android. Well, grew up. I was in my 40s when I started learning about computers. I think I was like 40, 41 when I got my first real Windows computer. Before that, I had like an RC Tandy, a couple of other of those beginner type computers that had cards and cassette tapes and little floppy disks, all that crazy stuff. So, anyway, got it figured out. Try to make a note of what I did and how I need to fix it, and hopefully remember the note. I'll probably do a written note and put it in my bag, do a little video, and put it on my private thing on my YouTube. I'm hoping that this background noise isn't overpowering, because I hear a lot of traffic driving by through this open window. This side, there's just there's a hedge and a building. So, and it's the side that the mic is on. But anyway, like I said, it's a nice night out here. I'm tempted to go home and set up this light and do a little bit more work in the back of the truck to set things up. I've been kind of puttering around with it, just like I do everything else. I never focus on one thing and get it done. other than like clean the dashboard off one day. Man, that's a noisy, whatever it is. I cleaned the entire dashboard off. Took all 10 minutes, but and then I put a bunch of stuff back up there, and I got more stuff up there. And I did go get that box that I still haven't gone through. I put some of this stuff in there, like the broken phone clamp, and yeah. So, anyway. With it being so late, there's no telling how long it's going to take for this thing to upload. Some days it goes like really quick, and other days it'll take hours, and it doesn't seem to make, well, it doesn't make any sense to me, where I am or what I'm doing or whatever. And basically it's the same length video, parameters aren't that much different, and it'll upload in a half hour, or like I said, it could take up to a couple hours. So, while I was at my son's house last night, they popped a question. They're planning on a trip at the end of the month, the end of September, and through the first week of October, first couple of days of October. They're going to fly into Seattle, Tacoma, SeaTac, rent a car, and then wander down the coast, seeing what sights they can see, finding a nice place to, get some sleep or whatever, and continue the next day and see what they can see what they can find, etc. And then work their way back up to Seattle with a more inland route, just to see more of what they can see. So I'm a little jelly. I totally admit that. I would love to be out there, but maybe one day. But by the same token, I am totally stoked for them to get out there. I think it's going to be great for the girls. And I'm going to be spending that 7 or 8 days over there taking care of the grandpas. So, they're a little spoiled, and they're kind of used to their routine, but they're going to have to get used to Pop's routine. My daughter-in-law said something about, Big D is ready to eat as soon as you're done dinner. And I was like, yeah, but my dinner isn't until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening, or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So what's he going to do until then? But I'll adapt to some degree. Like I said, I'll let them out before I go to bed, and try to get my bedtime a little earlier, and then try to wake up like noon or 1 o'clock, and let them out again, and then feed them when I'm having lunch about 6 or 7 in the evening. So anyhow, it'll be interesting. It'll be kind of fun. Of course, I still have, like, I'll be headed out to dinner with the younger daughter on Mondays, and the one Thursday, I think they'll be going on Thursday. I'll have I'll be going to the other daughters for dinner, and I'll be doing the tutoring that day as well. And then it may actually be the day after they get home. I don't know. There are some loud vehicles around here, I swear. I know that, of course, because I can hear it from my house. My place is only, I don't know, quarter mile that way. So almost right behind this property is the fence for the mobile home park. So, I've been putting my address in my description, showing where I've lived and everything else. I get packages from y'all all the time. Not an overabundance by any means, but I get packages, and I'm not saying anything about wanting an overabundance. For the number of subscribers I get, I think I do pretty well, and some of them are really cool stuff that I carry all the time, like these two flashlights. Um, well, actually, this wasn't the one. Where's the other one at? It's on one of the other key rings, but and everything else, spam and hot sauce and cookies and rocks and, well, y'all know. But anyway, I watched two different channels today, and both were talking about their privacy. One doesn't show his address online at all, like if it's on a package or something like that. Doesn't broadcast it. I think I have it somewhere because of a package he sent to me. But the other one is somebody who's been traveling a lot, and he's got a fairly robust channel, and he just bought some property out in the Midwest. And he's been building it up, and he's inviting friends that he's met along the way to come and spend some time with him. But that's blown up, and people stop in uninvited, and that's not cool. I totally get where he's coming from. I totally get the sign that he says, stop private property. If you haven't been invited, turn around and go home, or something to that effect. So, like I said, I totally get that. That's, I think I'd be the same way. He says up till now he's been really nice to people. I think I would be too, to some degree. But I have a low tolerance for inconsiderate people. I guess that'd be the nicest way to put it. So, anyway, I do get it. There's a couple channels. One guy, I don't know. You hardly hear from him at all anymore. He used to do like at least one video a month, a build type video. Then it got to be where it was all opening packages, and he'd have a half hour of opening packages twice a month. People are just sending him stuff, and you get to a point like, what do I do with it all? I think his thing was Smarties candies or sour gummies or something like that. Excuse me. And he ended up, he had so much he didn't know what to do with. This is one of my thrift store finds. It's just filtered water. I need to remember to take it in and refill it today. So put that there. But I can see where that would be a problem. I don't have a whole lot of room for stuff, odds and ends. So unless I get something that's small, um, I don't really have a place to put it. Or if it's edible, you know, then I know right where to put that type of stuff, right? Yeah. So, uh, I don't know. And then there's two opposite ends of the spectrum, two different people that I watch, and they both do short videos. And one was talking about how people hoard foods now. Like when you go to the store and do like I do. Um, if I see something at a decent price, even spam, I've got 8 or 10 cans of spam on the shelf. If I see a decent price on spam, I get a can. If I'm ordering food online from Amazon and spam is, I get a decent price, I get a can. I've got rice and potatoes and cases of beans and cases of chili and stuff like that. Am I hoarding? Maybe a little bit. I go through it and I'm prepared. I don't know. There's food in the back of this, um, in case I'm out on the road and get hungry and you know just want to stop and grab some tuna or open a can of beans, or if I need to bug out. If there's a big storm coming and I don't want to rush around gathering all my food supplies and carrying them out to the truck. I'm set to go. I'm set to maybe 2 weeks. You know, um, but then on the other hand, there's another fellow that I watch, and he is. I don't want to say paranoid because he's got a reason. Where he lives, it's a it's not a good area. So he's constantly he's armed. He's got his windows not booby trapped, but you're not going to want to come in his windows. He's got cameras all over. He watches everything that his neighbors do, and he's got food. He's got food stores in the house. He's got food caches in the mountains. He's got food storage in another town in a storage unit. Um, Again, is that hoarding or is that just preparing? I'm going with preparing. I think of hoarding as, well, I'm a borderline hoarder. I just look around inside my truck. We're around the house. My kids would definitely call me a hoarder. Man, that traffic. It's getting louder. Which way is he coming? Nowhere. Wow. So, I think of hoarders as people that have, you know, years supplies of magazines and newspapers and um, empty cans. I got empty cans. I don't have years supply. I got a dozen or so for projects. Uh, that's what I consider a hoarder. I don't consider people stocking up on food to be hoarders. But again, different people have different opinions, and that's just my thoughts on it. I would like to be the guy with storage with food reserves here, and out in the woods in Ocala, or up in Georgia, in a storage unit somewhere. Um, I'm not. So, I mean, first of all, financially, that's a big thing to do, especially the storage unit. You know, even a small one's going to cost you $50, $60 a month, and then all the food you have in it. So, a decent cash somewhere. The box is going to cost good amount of money. You have to keep an eye. You have to check it every so often, make sure critters haven't gotten into it, or the weather hasn't affected it. Yeah. What do we got? Oh man, we're pushing a half hour. Let me know what you think, folks. Give me a thumbs down or thumbs up. Leave me a comment wherever it is y'all leave comments on your internet access device of choice. If you'd like to share me around your social media, that'd be fandoculous. If you want to check me out on Facebook or Instagram, now I've said it. Um, oh, wow. This was sitting in the sun. This side was sitting in the sun. That is not good. Ugh. Ah. If your loved ones are nearby, give them a kiss and a hug. If they're not, give them a call. Hit them up on Facebook. Let them know you think about them. Let them know you love them. We ain't promised tomorrow, people. We ain't promised our next breath. So I see y'all again. I hope you have a fandoculous day. It's launchy, y'all.